Will there ever be a Freud bot? How might it work? Gosh, I hope not. What matters to me in psychoanalysis is the human connection. And if there were to be a Freud bot, it might be very frightening in that probably AI can generate many competent interpretations and even to a certain extent something that seems like empathy or evenly hovering attention or some kind of active listening. But I think there's something quite horrifying in the idea that someone would spend time talking to a bot rather than investing in relationships. I'm not sure I can say how it might work. It would work the same way all of the other AI bots work, and I would say that it doesn't work well.
I think you'd have to ask ChatGPT that question.
And what might it say? What do you think it might say?
It would ask something deep about what happened to you as a child. I don't know.
Great.
There certainly will be a Freud bot because that is how technology works and innovation works and our society that is, for better or worse, based on capitalism works. Somebody will try to find a way to make psychoanalysis more efficient and technologically friendly and accessible, and those are not bad things. But again, but the Council on Artificial Intelligence and the American Psychoanalyst Analyst, the publication of APsA, have had articles on the limitations of AI, specifically around the importance of having had a childhood, which artificial intelligence doesn't have, having a body and the experience of the world that is embodied. These are things that AI is unlikely to ever be able to achieve, and why having an actual human being as part of a psychoanalytic experience and self-understanding will always be important. That's not to say that technology can't help us with mental health, but there are limits to what it can do.
Why do many analysts have an analytic couch? And what are analytic couches like? If we do.
Analytic couches need to be comfortable and create an atmosphere where people feel like they can say whatever they want. People have to be vulnerable when they're in these conversations, and couch allows you to be open.
It's two questions. Why do many analysts have an analytic couch? Analysts have analytic couches for at least three reasons. One is history. Freud had a couch, and we connect ourselves with that symbol of the beginning of analysis. Another one is identity. It feels like you're not quite an analyst unless you have a couch. My first analytic supervisor suggested that I was ambivalent about being an analyst since I couldn't afford a couch yet and didn't have one. But probably the main reason is that it's a very important and useful tool to be able to free one's vision from the analyst. Allows the patient to go more deeply inward and look more clearly at their own internal world without having to gauge it against the analyst's reactions. What are our couches like if we do have couches? Our couches say a lot about us. We think as analysts that we are blank slates. We're not. We are always showing who we are, and our couches are as individual analysts are. Some couches are very classical and draped with rugs like Freud. Some are very modern and clean with absolutely nothing on them, except sort of that mid-century style modern. And some are like a living room couch where people can lie down or have family meetings or just be cozy.
Analysts have an analytic couch in order to allow our patients to relax and free associate without having to be burdened by ordinary social obligations, such as eye contact and managing facial expressions and so on. But really, many analysts don't have an analytic couch and work face-to-face. And if we do have an analytic couch, they can come in a variety of different sizes, shapes, colors, and so on. They're just as varied as there are analysts.
Name a psychoanalytic value and how it's useful in treatment. One of the most important psychoanalytic values is the ability to hold complexity. The problems people encounter in life are often complicated. They have many threads. Holding complexity means being able to look at many threads at the same time as a way to untangle them and make better sense of one's experiences.